Hello, hello, and welcome to this wonderful conversation I'm here to have today with the awesome Rionach Aiken. I love this woman's work. She is an incredible visionary out in the world, sharing beautiful poetry, helping women step into a greater level of visibility so they can be the visionaries in their work. I will let her introduce herself properly, but I just wanted to let you know I am a huge fan. I've done some work with her myself, and Rionach has also done some work with me, which is what we're going to be here to talk about today. So welcome, my love. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Len. It's lovely to be in this conversation with you today. So I'm a visibility mentor and the poetry alchemist, and I help soulful business owners and creatives unlock the next level of their visibility, kind of get unfrozen or get unstuck or embody that next level of who they are so they can really become magnetic to the people who need their support. So yeah, I've been working with you for 18 months now, so in different ways.
Yes, yes, that's right. We started working together in January 2020, I think.
Yes.
And Rionach was a long-term member of my mastermind, and then we went on to work one-to-one together. And we'll get into all of the magical things that we got to co-create as that time went on. But because you know me so well, and you have experienced all different levels of my work, I just wanted to bring you on today so that you could share with someone else what is that experience like, and what do I offer that they might be looking for, if there's someone who's also trying to, create messaging and marketing out there in the world that feels like really aligned and joyful. Let's not forget that. So let's go back to before we kind of started to work together, and what is it that you were looking to achieve in your business at the time?
Well, I thought it was getting my business ducks in a row, and I really wanted to get clear on these are my core offers, and I wanted them to be aligned. It's really important to me to be aligned with the energy, because when I'm off the energy, it doesn't work anyway. So to be aligned, but also to have a business structure. I want both. Because I felt like I was spinning my wheels. I didn't have a clear plan. I was very resistant to planning, because it felt, often a bit off the energy. And then to kind of begin to create step by step rather than trying to do everything at once and not getting very far. What is it that I need to do next? What is it that I need to do next to build the foundations of my business? Both the offers, the pricing, the sales element, as well as the marketing and the messaging. And what I love is that you include all of that. It's really incredible. So I could, yeah, that's where I was, is spinning my wheels all over the place, kind of going, yeah, I want to get this nice and simple, and have a creative plan that I can do.
And it's and what I love about that, in my head I'm thinking it's like that yin and yang. It's like allowing ourselves to bring our magic, have our alignment, be in flow, but also know that we're running a business, and what do those structures, what does the strategy look like for us that allows both of those to work together in a way that actually brings us joy and results. Haha, that's what we do. I love it. And what did you feel was kind of in the way for you? Like what did you identify as the potential like obstacles that had stopped you feel like from having that in your business?
Well, there's the inner and the outer. So the inner for me was, this kind of pattern of, not good enough. And so inside of that, trying to do all things for all people and overcommitting and kind of going, oh, let me do this project and this project and this project. And then the outer was like not really having a clear business plan, not really having a clear, this is the next step, and then I'll do that one, trying to do it all as well. And I'd done a lot of work on up leveling my skills, as a transformational coach and facilitator. But business wise, I was still all over the place, so it's hard to, manifest success when you don't have a clear plan and intention.
Perfect. And that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, for all of us, conscious women in business, it is finding that balance and finding those, as you said, like that inner game, as well as like looking for the outer game. So that's beautiful, that beautiful combination of things that we need to work on, isn't it? And I love one of the things that, I learned from you was that idea of, inner work, step forward, and this is my language, but like get feedback and then like come back. So it's like that cycle. We're like, okay, we'll do the work, take the action, take the aligned action, see if it works, which then is a reflection of how did we go on the inside. So how do you say that again?
Oh yeah, the left foot and the right foot, the
That's
inner
it.
work and the outer work. Yes, left foot, right
That's
foot.
right.
We absolutely need both. Yeah, and to and keep getting more aligned as we go.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
And what was your motivation to change things? Like, why did you decide to like step forward like into the mastermind and working with me? What was the driver for you?
Well, I think once I'd completed all my, professional qualifications, transformational coach and facilitation training, they were amazing. I was like, okay, now I really want a full coaching practice. I want to be putting all of, my intuitive gifts and the transformational skills that I've learned and the things that were unique to me that were coming through into practice and really develop my mastery. But, I need to have a full practice business wise to be able to become the transformational expert that I knew I could be and really see how I could develop my own unique body of work, see what wants to come through me, what is it that I'm here to do, how can I really help and create massive transformation for the amazing visionaries that I want to be more visible in the world, and so did they. And I also wanted to grow my reach and community as somebody who works in visibility. Is like, okay, I want to be out there in a way that's not draining and not all over the place and grow my reach so people could get what I do, they could understand the depth of what I offer, and know whether, it was right for them to work with me or not. So, yeah.
Perfect. And there are so many pieces to that big picture, isn't it? It's like that inner motivation is like, you've got a gift, that you absolutely want to fulfill your potential and share and serve those people you are here to truly help, and then making sure that your business is the vehicle to support that reality taking place.
Yeah.
Makes me very happy. And so before we worked together, like I know that you'd been in my membership, so we'd known each other for a little while, but were there any hesitations that you had, before stepping into our work together?
No, not really. I mean, I had a very clear yes when it came to working with you. It was like, definitely. I think the hesitations would have been inner, would have been the self-doubt, would have been, can I do it? If I invest in myself and give myself that support, will I be able to pull it together? Because there's a challenge to that commitment. It's a bit like, oh, well, if I don't have the support, I've got good excuses. If I put myself in a container of support where I know there's really solid business, there's really a magical alignment, then it's like, okay, it's on me now. So I trusted you. It's like, oh, can I trust myself? And then also, what came up for me was also going to be moving countries in 2020, which was a big pull in my energy and focus from moving from England to the Netherlands. So, but I had a clear yes, even though there's never a perfect moment to do that, and I've got to face my own resistance to committing.
And I love that. And I think that is a similar story for many of us. I have had the same as well. Like when I've joined a really big program, the question was, I was like, do I have what it takes to make this work for me? So it wasn't, did I, because I had the yes as well. And I think as intuitive business women, that's often how we make those decisions. And that's the internal story, the internal story that's playing, can play for us. So thank you for highlighting that, just to let everybody know that we're all, it's very similar for many of us. So now moving on to like what it was actually what it was like to work together. And I'm interested in like, what did you find, as a result of working with me?
Well, often I would have these, really magical conversations with you where just clarity would just like come down from the heavens and kind of go, bing, this is what you need to do. This is how you can communicate it. And I just felt like, oh, that's it, over and over. And that started with, I created a really powerful signature talk, the 3 keys to visibility for visionary leaders. And I offered that to a number of people's communities and groups and got a lot of clients from it as well. But just doing the talk itself felt like, oh, this is my message. This is really clear. I went on from there. I created, a Facebook group, the visibility for visionary leaders. And again, it felt like the vision for that was really clear. It's like, this is the conversation that I want to lead. These are the people I want to, attract in, but also all the practical stuff, the copy, the focus, all the nuts and bolts that you need to build for that. It was also doing, my sales calls and how I communicate them, the visibility breakthrough blueprint. And then, more recently, I created my first proper launch and did this the 5-day poetry breakthrough experience, which, and even back in April this year, a few months before I did it, I had no vision for that. And again, it was in a conversation with you where this really became clear that bringing the poetry and the visibility pieces really together was the next step for me, which is something because I'd always had them, but I didn't know how to bring them together. And I was like, and it was incredible. It felt like delivering a retreat, the transformation, and a free 5-day challenge was off the charts. But working with you, I was able to plan the launch. I'd never done it before. All of the dates, all of the copy, the landing page, the content for the challenge, all the promotional emails, the schedule. There's a lot to create from scratch. And we did all of that together in partnership. So it really felt like, okay, I'm being held here. And that's something that's a huge business asset. I know I'll do that over and over. So it was so worth investing in that. And it just feels so aligned for me. And then I created my first 7-week group program. And, that was what I was launching, Magnetic Presence. And again, that came from conversation. It wasn't on the radar. And you were like, oh, there's something else that you want to create. And I'm going, wow, that's it. And just
I'll never forget
alignment
that
piece.
conversation because we hopped on the call to talk about, a longer term program that you wanted to create. That was the idea that you'd had. And as soon as we hopped on the call, it was like a little knock on the back of my head saying, I think a shorter program might be better. And I was like, no, she's already got her idea. We'll talk about that. And then we got into it and it just then it came knock on the front of my head. And I was like, okay. And I was like, can I just throw an idea by you that's not quite what you were thinking, but I kind of get the sense it might be a little, and as soon as we started talking about it, it was kind of, it really got to land. So I won't forget that conversation. But that's one of the reasons, you talk about, you've given me the moniker, which I love, like alignment genie. And it's definitely through our work, I've really gone, yes, because, that's how I get those senses. And when I sit on a call with somebody, I'm listening intuitively with all my senses. And that's how I knew to bring that idea, right? And I can feel when things come into alignment and it just feels clear in my body. So, so it's wonderful and I love that story because
It's so powerful, and it's pure magic, and the value of that is immense. I mean, I know, I completed that magnetic presence course last week, and at the end I was saying thank you to everyone, including you, in there who helped me to create that. But the people who did that, the 11 people who did that, they are so transformed. They are so grateful, and I know there'll be many others who go through that as well. It's an incredibly transformational program that was not on my radar, and and it was you and your alignment genie and the beings you work with that kind of said, okay, this is what's next. And it just felt so aligned to do all of it. And also you helped me with all the practical stuff to make that happen as well, which is like all of that in one. It's like, wow.
Yes,
please.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so because I can, as we went from concept to actually fleshing out that to then what are the actual practical details. And we work with my launch kit, you know, which helps you plan your promotions and your copy and all of that kind of stuff. So yes, I'm a very practical girl, which is one of the reasons it's, you know, I can kind of do both. We can do the, you know, the feelings, like what's, you know, bringing in the alignment, and then like how do we practically take inspired action on those things as well.
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo. That's what we do.
It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And now I'm launching my longer group program, you know, from the 7-week course.
Yes.
So, you know, what we'd originally been trying to plan is coming off in a way that's actually really easy now. It's really easy because people have a taste of what's possible, and you know, I could keep that really simple, and just have chats with people about that. So yeah.
And that's how we want to do business, isn't it? Like if we follow the alignment, it brings in that ease and that joy, and you are such a brilliant example of that in action. So thank you for, you know, sharing that, because it's what we all, you know, that's what we all want. We want it to feel ease, we want to feel joy, and following the alignment and taking action on those inspired ideas, you know, is what can help us get there. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we've just talked about a lot of things about, you know, working together. Is there anything that specifically you appreciate about the way that I work?
Well, I think, you know, I think we've already talked about that, but it's definitely the alignment piece, you know, and I can come to you and have done many times with I've got a vague idea, but there's no clarity, and I'm a bit confused and a bit all over the place, and I've got some resistance. Help. And kind of come out of our conversations with that clarity of what I need to do, either, you know, the inner work that I need to do, or the alignment piece, this is what I need to create, or here's the practical next step, which I don't know because I've not done before. There's so many things that I just kind of keep coming back on track and back into, you know, and it's all about shifting the energy. You know, when I get when the energy is aligned, and I say this to people about visibility as well. When the energy is aligned, everything flows. When you're kind of pushing it, you know, you're not going to get any response. And I think, you know, that's the joy piece, isn't it, as well? It's that signature of joy. It's like, yeah, hey, yeah. So that's what I love, and also the fact that I can, you know, you can help me with both, with the really practical business stuff, and the alignment piece. I mean, that's everything.
So we've talked about a couple of the kind of key outcomes and results, you know, that we've got, because, you know, everyone loves some tangibles. So, you know, we've talked about your 5-day challenge, and then we talked about your magnetic presence program. And what other kind of key outcomes or results would you say you've achieved through working together?
Well, also full coaching practice this year, you know, which was great, and which is like yay, and confidence that comes from that, you know, from just really knowing what I was doing, getting great results, you know, knowing actually I can increase my prices because people are getting massive value from what I bring, and then that also helped me to feel ready to launch a group program. Let me make that more accessible for people. And also there's a magic in groups as well. And I was really scared of launching. You know, I'd failed in the past to get a group together. It's not always an easy thing to do. So also helping me through the fear and resistance, as well as the practical, this is how you do it in a way that works rather than not.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And so you've done that beautiful thing of, you know, solidifying those foundations in your business, growing your one-to-one practice, you know, getting to a point where you were full, and you're like, okay, next step, let's look into creating that group program. And you obviously created the 5-day challenge to lead into that, which, as you said, is a huge business asset that you can just repeat, which is amazing, and it's such high quality. And then you've now, you know, got your longer term, you know, group program for further, you know, integration and integration, that's the word, you know, of what they learned in the magnetic presence. So I mean, I just feel like going, like, that's amazing, like, well done. But what I also want to share is that, you know, you took such steady action. You were dedicated to finding the right way for you. And I think that's one of the things I also want to highlight, because, you know, for each of us that looks different. You know, so you always showed up trusting your knowing, even if you were in resistance or even if you weren't sure. Like when you would say to me, no, that's not quite right, or yeah, no, that does feel right, you know. And that's really important, because that's, I think, how you steadily but surely actually created what you now have. You just kept showing up, you trusted your own knowing, you took action. You know, and you had faith. I mean, I think that's also the thing, isn't it? Like, you really had faith, and I had your back, but you had faith in yourself and moving forward. So I also just wanted to acknowledge you for that today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, I just feel so on purpose and so aligned now. You know, a client yesterday was thanking me for walking my talk, which, as they said, helped them to walk their talk, and they could really see the ripple effect of that, you know, as they stepped up to the next level, and people were just attracted to them as well. And another client, you know, also yesterday just had a huge business changing aha moment that's going to, you know, really move our business to the next level over the coming year. And these are people doing such amazing, deep, soulful work. So I just feel so on purpose, like this is what I'm here to do, to help people. And with me, it's often people who are really deep, you know, quite spiritual, and are not sure how to communicate that in the world. But actually, people are really hungry for it and really, really want it. If they know, if they can own it themselves. So that's why I love what you do. You help similar people with the more practical side of things, as well as the alignment piece.
Yes, and I think that's because when I'm sitting with somebody, I can actually feel into their future and them owning like what it actually looks and feels like, and what they're saying, and the energy of what it looks like, what it is when they own their message. And what's been such a joy for me is like helping you feel into that and then stepping into it, feel into that and then step into it. Like, it's just been magnificent. But and a joy for me, because, you know, I'm like, oh, but I know this is, you know, I can feel where we need to go here. And then because it feels right, as long as it feels right, alignment's important, you know, you step into that too. So that's just, you know, it's a beautiful co-creation. I love it so much.
Yeah.
And how do you feel now about your business?
Yeah, well, I just love it. There's always next steps, and there's always, you know, as I scale, it's kind of like new challenges come up. It's like, oh, I need some support, but I love it. I feel so on purpose and aligned about my business now, and I feel like I'm really doing what I'm here to do. I'm doing something that's quite unique, and that I didn't like, bringing all of my strengths together. And I'm also learning how to let it be easy, you know, and really work lighter, you know, because, you know, my old ways is just, you know, do a lot of busy work and doing. But I'm finding that I can really let it be easy, and let the energy do the work. And when I show up in the right energy, the magic happens and the transformations happen, and I don't have to work so hard.
Love that. Great. Yes, ease and joy and simplicity. Yeah. Perfect.
I've definitely had, you know, the best ever business months in terms of my revenue, and that's gonna, you know, I can see that continuing.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's great.
And what would you say to anyone considering working with me?
Well, I'd say if you're, you know, a soulful, creative business owner, and if you have lots of inspiration, but you struggle with planning, or you struggle with really trusting your own intuitive nudges, or having the clarity on which of your 10 gazillion ideas to pursue, you know, and also if you're, you know, if you're struggling with the words to communicate the depth and the magic of what you do, you know, and who it is you're here to serve, you know, then you're just incredible for, you know, downloading those aligned ideas, creating the plans that work, that, you know, are aligned for each person, building all of the structures, and then writing the magnetic words, you know, that really attract people, that feel so alive, and where the energy is in a way that really lands. There's so many pieces, you know. That's what I would say. If you're struggling with any of those pieces, work with Lynn, and you'll get support with all of it, because it's really awesome what you do. And you know, the inner shifts as well, being held through, it's a vulnerable place to be. So you also be held through your resistance and your old patterns, and you know, they don't have to win. We can let them go, work through them.
Yes, and find new ways of being. Love it.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being you and doing what you're doing, and being my creative midwife for all the magic that I'm bringing into the world.
Thank you. It's been an absolute joy. And that's, I really mean it. It's been an absolute joy and honor. And if anybody's interested in finding out a little bit more about you and your work, where could they go?
Go to my website, which is rionachaiken.com. And you also find a link on there to my Facebook group, which is Visibility for Visionary Leaders. And yeah, that's where you'll find out everything that I've got to offer.
Fantastic. And if anybody is interested in talking to me about doing some work together, you can check out my website, lynnhorde.com. A little bit outdated, so I definitely recommend coming to find me inside the Joy Jam Collective, which is my free Facebook group, or send me a DM. So I'm Lynn Horde on Facebook, so just reach out and we can have a chat. So thank you, awesome Rionach Aiken, visibility mentor to visionary leaders. She's doing incredible work in the world, so definitely go and check out her stuff if you're looking to really raise your visibility to a whole new level. So thank you for coming and chatting with me today and sharing what it was like for us to work together. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Lynn.
Bye for now.
Bye.